ever loved has been hunted down. Now a new war is being waged. This day was bound to come.
The Lycans have moved again. They have a new leader, Marius.
We must not rest until we have destroyed their final sanctuary. You need Celine.
She cannot be trusted. Tell your Marius, I'm not finished with this war.
Celine's blood is the key. We will be invincible.
As the Lycans grow stronger, I fear more blood will be spilled than ever before.
We fight for our common.
Aloha! This is Trinidad, your island man, coming to you live all the way from Hawaii, bringing you the best movie reviews from the island of Oahu. Yes, here I am once again, giving you my fantastic movie reviews. Today was the opening day of UNDERWORLD Blood Wars. This is part 5 of this of this series. And, just to give you a little background on it, it picks up directly, maybe a few months later from part 4, if you had seen that. Not too many people did. And as a result of that, this movie was released without a press screening, so the press did not get to see this movie, so there was no precursor reviews of it before it was opened up to the audience. Now, normally, that would signify that, the studio has very little faith in this movie, that it was going to do very well, so they didn't want to get any bad word of mouth out before it hit the major audiences. And unfortunately, I see why they did not release this early. And also, I also do not believe that, withholding it from the press screening will do it any benefit at all. This is still a bad movie. So remember our rating scale. Shaka thumbs up, I recommend it, it's good to see. Or Shaka thumbs down, it's junk, I don't recommend it. And, I'm sorry, to have to tell you guys this, but it's definitely a Shaka thumbs down for sure. Do not waste your time on this movie. See it Netflix. I wouldn't even recommend you buying this on iTunes or renting it on iTunes. When you see it on Netflix, like I saw part 4 on Netflix, go ahead and watch it there, because you don't want to spend, what did I spend? I spent $9 at this movie, and it wasn't even worth $6. So yeah, I definitely don't recommend this movie. Shaka thumbs down all the way. Which is a shame. When Underworld 1 and 2 came out, I was on board. I enjoyed 1. I enjoyed 2 even more, even though, it didn't do as good as 1. But I thought the action was good in both 1 and 2, but better in 2 because, you had more of a stronger, superpowered character against another superpowered character, the original werewolf against an now empowered Celine. And, then I think the series as a whole broke its stride and kind of stumbled when they, after 2, maybe Kate Beckensale said she didn't want to come back right away, or she didn't want to come back. I think she had some children in the meantime. I'm not sure what happened, but, they did the prequel to 1, which was all right. It was a fine standalone movie, but I really think it interrupted the flow of events, from 1 and 2. Because by the time you get Kate Beckensale back in part 3, she seems kind of out of touch. The story is definitely underdeveloped. They set it kind of sort of in the future. I'm sorry, in part 4. They set it kind of in the future. Part 3 was in the past. You know, ancient times when, you know, and didn't even have Kate Beckinsale. You know, it was medieval times. So a lot of sword, at least you got a lot of sword fighting with vampires and werewolves. Sorry about that. But what you don't like to see in this movie is a lack of action. This franchise was built on action. Kate Beckinsale, you know, this is the series, you know, Underworld is the series, is the movie, you know, that made her a star. Say what you will, you know, she's been in those Jane Austen movies, you know, she's a fine actress, you know, she's easy on the eyes, that's for sure. But, you know, I think because, you know, she was as talented as she was, she kind of, you know, was reluctant to embrace the role of action hero star that, you know, Celine, the vampire, you know, hunter of werewolves, you know, had become, and you know, what they developed for the show, you know, Underworld. And so as a result, you know, she missed out on 3. That broke the stride of the show. By the time it came back in 4, you know, the action wasn't quite there. The story definitely wasn't there. You know, kind of set in the quasi-future where, you know, the vampires and werewolves are kind of, you know, taking a back seat to the humans. And you find out that really the werewolves and Mastermind teamed up with the humans because pretty much they're the closest to the humans. You know, to kind of sort of take over and start wiping out everybody. And this follows suit. This is pretty much, like I said, a couple of months later, continuation of that storyline. You know, you never see the romance again between Celine and Michael, you know, who became the werewolf-vampire hybrid. You know, all that is off screen, as you say that they, you know, that she had a daughter. Celine had a daughter, and now, you know, she's going to be the future of the werewolves and vampire race, I guess. I don't know. You know, the first movie said that Michael was supposed to be bringing the peace between vampires and werewolves, showing that the two can live as one. 3 kind of, you know, wanted to put that forward with the marriage of a vampire, you know, and werewolf falling in love as well, showing that there was prehistory to this. But, you know, they just never really committed to that. You know, I think the actor, Speedman or something, said he didn't want to do any more of these. And he's not even in this movie. They reference him. Spoiler alert. But it doesn't really affect too much in this movie. Because he wasn't in part 4 at all. You just got like a little clip picture of him saying that he was captive or he was lost, and Celine feared that he was dead. Well, you find out he wasn't dead in 4, but now in part 5, Blood Wars, he is dead. You know, the werewolves had captured him and basically drained his blood, and they're using it. The main bad werewolf guy is using his blood to become the super duper werewolf, kind of like they had the super duper werewolf in part 4 to take on Celine and wipe him out. You know, up until, and you don't find that up until about the end, you know, the last 5 minutes of the movie, that Michael's dead, that this is what he's doing with the blood. And it didn't make any sense because in part 4, they had done this without the blood. He made this super powerful werewolf through genetic engineering. So that didn't make any sense to me. Other than the fact that the actor said, no, I'm not coming back ever again. You know, and they, at the end of this, they definitely set it up. They show her daughter coming back. She'd been in hiding, wasn't in any other part of the movie except the end, basically saying, hey, Mom, I'm here to take over for you. As I don't think Kate Beckinsale really wants to do any more of these movies. And to her credit, she still looks good in leather. You know, she's wearing those leather pants like a champ. But you can tell she's older, she's a little slower. The action really drug in this movie. She just doesn't have the moves that she did in the first or second movie. And even the fourth movie didn't have, she wasn't as quite as agile as she was, and she's not getting any younger. Let me just say that. I know you're not supposed to say that kind of stuff, especially about women, but I mean, she can't do the action as well as she used to. They use a lot of camera tricks, a lot of, CGI, but it's all stuff that we've seen before from other vampire movies, walking on the walls, walking on the ceilings, and, wearing that outfit like she did. It's almost a copy of The Matrix in a way. Some of those moves, and The Matrix did it better, and The Matrix still holds up better than, Underworld, any of them, especially 4 and 5. There's no future left to this franchise after this movie. Again, remember, Shaka thumbs down. Don't waste your money on this movie. I recommend, if you really want to see it, sorry Aleppa, watch it on Netflix. Don't spend your money to see this movie. It's not worth it.